Hello guys, welcome back. So somebody asked me a really good question of could I make a video on how I work with the kami? Now, how I work with the kami is not in a really strict Shinto sense. If you want to practice Shinto, that's something really different. But I treat them like I treat the gods, and I usually only ever work with Inari and Susanoo. Um, I work with those two because we get along well and they do seem to be productive and they do seem to be interested in things. Like I came on today and Bing had swift foxes. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I made that silly video for you guys. And hand to goddess, I went and watched a group of Japanese commercials. And Stars and Stripes Forever was used to sell some kind of, I think, pot stickers. So, they're definitely showing their appreciation in small ways like that. So I know they're here and I know they're showing their appreciation. Though you could say Loki did it too. Um, they usually have whatever they request if it's reasonable and I can give it to them. I already had their stuff. I'm not in a place now where I can buy them stuff, but I had their stuff, so it was okay to make them a corner. It was okay to give them the things they liked and would make them feel relaxed. And Susanna, oh, I don't know why I always put that A in there. I just do. It's Susanna, but I always put that A in there. I must have heard it somewhere. Anyhow. They really aren't interested in having anything per se, so we really don't go there. But, basically, I listen to them as advisors. If they ask for an offering, I give it to them. I try to, learn any lessons they want to teach me. Like, Inari is very loose and very usually pretty happy and easy to work with. And, with Mammon getting me stirred up, they got very upset and they got very strict, not with me, with Mammon. And Susano had me take down the demon sigils on the door. Remember all those papers said they're not really working with you? What it was is they were testing the demons. They wanted to see their integrity. If we take everything from you, if we take all of your altars, if we take all of your things, if you're left with absolutely nothing, will you be loyal? And Mammon and Asmodeus fought to get back to my side, but they're the only two that did it. So, they're part of the family. Mammon is being told to settle down. He's been going haywire and been going crazy lately, but now nobody's allowed to pick on him either. Emir's not allowed to pick on him. As Inari won't pick on him. No one else is allowed to pick on him. They'll have a place in the home, but they've been stripped of their status as to having any kind of altar or anything. And just with the kami, it's natural for me to let them take a higher status. And Loki, if Loki wasn't happy, Loki would say something. And Loki thinks it's good. In fact, Loki's told me, it's not a secret, a lot of Lokeans are getting it. He's working on big stuff right now, like those second stimulus checks we all desperately need, and like a possible income of some kind. Yeah, he's working on stuff like that. He's working on big stuff, like coronavirus stuff and everything. I don't know any details, will not tell me, but he's trying to get like the energy going and everything. So he's got big stuff to work on. So even though he's still the ruling god of the house, I don't see him as often right now. So Inari is the one that's responsible and in charge. And Inari's top of the household right now in not like Loki's absence, he's still here, but not as much. Inari top of household and Susanoo with him, and then it's, the demons and everyone else. Norse gods seem to be on the same tier as the kami, and then the demons on the bottom. And that's how Inari has things set up, and that's how we do it. Inari can be kind of strict. But once you follow the rules and once you do what they want, after the papers were taken down, after, I just write stuff in marker because that way if somebody goes or, they don't work or they don't earn something, then you can just take one of those little magic erasers and erase it and, it's gone. So they know they've been stripped of all their stuff, but they're still loyal and they still want to be here and they really don't care about having stuff. They just want to be at my side. Mammon may never be able to do anything for me. We may just be so incompatible that he can't cause anything to happen in my life, and he's apologizing. He's trying, and it's not working for me. But this time, he's not going to have Inari or Ymir fighting him. But back to the kami, I work with them super casually, but in my case, it's like, I think it's pretty unique because Inari set themselves up as head of household when Loki's not here. Loki's the ultimate god in the household, but the kami are like right after, because those are Loki's roles. So, Inari is like, will watch everything. Like, since they are related to business, they will watch, what are you buying? What are you spending your money on? How much money do you have in the bank? Do you have enough to cover this? Do you think there's a check coming? Don't just spend money because you think there's a check coming. And, all these practical things. Like, it's a really hard, tough economy right now. So, don't depend on any of my other sources of income of maybe coming through right now, because AdSense has been goofy and like not paying us on a lot of stuff for like 6 months. So it's kind of weird. So I'm just, I'm putting it all in Inari's hands right now, because Loki's like, you should work with Inari for a while. And Inari may be here for a couple months, may be here for, years, but they definitely have made this their territory. But then they do get, like with me, they do get like kind of fidgety. Like, they don't want you to just start becoming like super Japanese. You know what I mean? You don't have to watch Japanese ads 24/7. You don't have to watch, all Japanese content on YouTube. You don't have to just start eating Japanese food. You probably didn't do it when you started working with Loki. You probably didn't start watching Norwegian TV or YouTubers, maybe a little, but you probably didn't overdo it. You probably didn't eat all whatever would pass as Viking food, for months on end. Maybe you did, but most people don't. It's just something about Japan. It seems like when Westerners especially work with a kami, we fall into it. Now, if you want to eat those things and consume that content, it's fine, but they're always telling me don't overdo it, don't overdo it. So, my work with them, it's mainly a thing of I give them devotion when I can. We have one candle left in the house, and that's kind of there for pretty, so the altar looks decent, so it's really not there to burn. I do burn them incense now if they request, like Susano asked for incense today, and will say thank you before I eat. I try to ask their advice on things, but it's not like a relationship in a Shinto sense. I have mobility issues, and even if there were a shrine across the street right now, I think we're like heading into another lockdown in this area, maybe. So it's not like I can go to a shrine. It's not like I can go, and I did not feel drawn into full Shinto. We have that discussion. I'm just not, you know, the right kind of personality to go into it. It will not work for me. It's a lot of rules and regulations, and that doesn't tend to work with me. And they can be harsh. Like, they tested the demons pretty seriously and they broke them down and demoted them, but they feel that's their right, because they will be a provider for the household. Ymir is going to definitely be a provider for the household. And I have an idea that Susano will be considered like a third source of providing for the household, and Loki kind of leaves them in charge when he's absent or he has to go work on something else, like these bigger things he indicated he's working on. And now that Mammon and Asmodeus are here, Inar's going to happily find what they're good at and what they can actually do for me and put them to work. Um, so if you work with them, it's a lot about, I've only worked with two of the kami. It's about, they do teach you discipline. They do teach you to kind of, not like you're going to be doing more work during the day, it's nothing to be afraid of, but to approach it in a certain way, to be kind of more mindful. Like, if you're washing dishes, you're doing it as an offering to your kami or your spirits of the house. As you're cleaning, again, it's an offering so that the kami have a comfortable home to be with you in. Anything you're doing, like from how you dress to like just sitting down and having a simple snack, you don't have to overdo it and get super religious, as Loki would put it, but to be more thoughtful towards things. That's like the first thing they like, to not just go through life zoning out. You can still have fun, you don't have to be super attentive to everything, but to be more mindful during the day, and to have it's kind of hard discipline to describe, because it's not like you change your diet radically or you do without things. It's more, I guess, in attitude, if that makes sense. It's kind of like this ephemeral discipline. Like, you'll know it when they start doing it to you, but it's not like your lifestyle really changes. It's just, I guess, you become more aware of your actions. It's like with Loki, Loki's pretty laid back and life's more about having fun and everything. Inari's certainly like that too, but there's also this kind of business seriousness with them. I think that's what I'm saying. More like we're going to achieve something together, but let's get the energy right. Let's get you working on whatever we tell you. And then once they tell you to do something, it's usually pretty simple. Then the rest of the day is yours and you can go goof off and you don't have to be all super attentive and everything. It's not like even like an hour's worth a day. It's like maybe they say, hey, you have dishes sitting there, or hey, you have those sigils on the door, we'd like them off, or hey, do this. It's like a couple minutes. It's like maybe 15 minutes of your time at most. And that's your service for the day. If they want something that day, they don't always want it. And I'm glad somebody asked because it's something I could never put into words, and you do kind of have to let them assume whatever role they're going to assume. That is one thing I've noticed with Call Me. Like all those little manga and everything about how this little Kami, and they're usually like cute chibi form, comes into somebody's life and they take over. That's pretty much it. They are going to be respected and they are going to be loved, and you are going to do as you're told, but it's also mm, it's kind of different, but the same as working with a god. When you work with Loki, it's like, yes, he's going to be respected and all that, and he wants these things, but it feels a lot more relaxed. Where with Kami, it feels a little more formal, maybe. Even though, Inari is like the most relaxed of the Kami. And usually they just like to see you have a good time and everything. It is kind of like more formal. Like, I am here now. You will respect me. You will kind of do as you're told. Not in a mean way, but if you want me to keep blessing you with my presence, you will do as you're told. And again, it's not in a mean way. It's just do as I say or I'll leave. And the commies seem to be like that. And we're not in Japan proper, so it's not the endless cycle of going to the temple and throwing in a coin and lighting incense and buying little gifts for them and everything else. Here, if you're going to do offerings as I do them, um, you try to get a sense of what do they want. Would they like you to cook a special dish? Would they like you to clean the house? What is it they're interested in you doing today? And that goes back to, hey, get sigils off the door. Hey, drop these tags. Hey, you've got dishes to do. And those sound like odd offerings, but they will work with what they have. You're not living in Japan, probably. You aren't probably fluent in Japanese. You have no idea what the Shinto religion usually entails because you would actually have to, be within walking distance of a temple and have a tutor. So they will just take what they can get, and they will work with you outside the Shinto sense. In fact, I get a very strong block from them about going towards too much Shinto. They're like, no, they get to come in, they get to discipline me. And like for a lot of Japanese living in Japan, it's more like that. They will have one or two kami or perhaps ancestors that they work with, and it's just such a daily part of life that to them it's really not like a religion anymore. It's just like if you work with Loki all the time, really at some point it's not a religion anymore. It's your where he's a god, you serve him, but you don't get like really a religious sense in it, if you know what I mean. So I kind of hope that helped, guys. It's just for me it's very basic. They're welcome. I know when they're here, you can definitely feel their presence. Um, and I do what they ask, and it's usually small. It's like they have a tiny corner over here now. That's their corner now. And I notice they have sea stuff, which is both for them and Susano, and they strip the demons of their stuff. And if I cook and enjoy video games and actually enjoy my life, that's really what Inari wants. But it's also in the strict sense of Inari is here and has their arms crossed, and this means they've had enough of everybody's shit, and man, better settle down in this Metal Spirit, get productive. They can be a little scary, but it's just they're a firm teacher. They're that kind of teacher where once you have done your list, and then they are back to being friendly and sweet. You'll know it. They can be a little bit scary, but they're not that bad. They really aren't. They want to see you obey your other gods too. So if you still are working with Loki, or no matter who you're working with, or if you're working with God, if you're Christian, they want you to obey. They expect you to obey. Obedience is this thing. If I would talk to God tonight in prayers, for example, if I would go, "Oh God, I need to talk to you. We need the second stimulus check and everything." If God would say, "Okay, I'll do," if I would get the sense of I would do that, but you know what would be really wonderful if you let X, Y, or Z back in, they would be like, "You heard your orders. You have to do this." So, they're very much about discipline. They're very much about do as I or the other gods say. No, that doesn't mean we have to throw out all common sense. If you are told something that's wrong, you feel is wrong or goes against your morals, absolutely ask for explanation, because one, a commie would never tell you that. They're very moralistic. And two, if another god would tell you that and it would just feel wrong, you can certainly ask your god, why do you want me to do that? That's wrong. Or I couldn't do that. I would be uncomfortable. And if it's something you have to learn to do, like with me, I have a hard time kicking gods in the ass and they need it every so often, then, they can tell you they need it. They know you don't want to do it. They know, like, if you're like really tender-hearted like I am, you never want to discipline. Sometimes you have to discipline. It's just like if the gods gave us absolutely everything we wanted, we would be holy terrors. I mean, if, Freya and Freya, when they came dancing in, imagine if they gave me everything I wanted. Yeah, it would be fun. It would be fun, but I would never have a reason to do anything either, which I think is pretty sweet. And I tried to convince Freya of it. I was like, if you just handed me everything, we could have fun 24/7. Think about it, sis. And she's like, that does sound good, but I know she's not going to do it. Inori probably would not put up with it. And it is a hard year, guys. It is. 2020 is hard. And I know it really pisses us all off when we see some guy that won $4 million, won $4 million more, and we're like, "Eh." And, paid government officials are going on a 4th of July holiday where some of us are going to be having ramen or something. We have food. We have enough food for at least the rest of the month, so we're blessed. But, it's right now, it's tense times for everybody. It's hard, and they understand that. But, they are rewarding to work with, and your roles may be completely different. They may not decide that you need discipline. They might decide, to run your house in a more relaxed mode, and that doesn't mean that you're wrong. I've seen all sorts of things written about them. Now, whether or not these things were true, I don't know. There was like one woman that claimed she was married to Inari and Susanoo, and they like gave her enough money to get to Japan, which kind of sounds sort of fantasy-ish, you know, like a fantasy, only because, if you're going to move to Japan, you are going to at least have to be fluent in Japanese. You're going to need a place to stay. You're going to need to be there for X amount of years and be productive, have some kind of job before you can apply for citizenship, and it goes on and on and on. So it's like, it almost sounded like kind of a fantasy. I mean, yeah, sure, they could get you money for a trip, but moving there is like super complicated. So it's, they're pretty good to work with. I hope that helped. I'm really super informal, and again, I'm not Shinto. I don't claim to be their priestess. But one thing I can tell you about Inari, the temple priestesses, or maidens rather, are considered to be brides of Inari. And Inari is very protective. And they're very protective of a bride or anyone that works with them. That's why they felt free to smack Asmodeus and Mammon around for a little bit, because if they don't think their people are being treated right, they're very ferocious. They are very ferocious. That's why some people are scared a little bit of the kami. And I got the two with the wildest temperaments, but Loki's okay with that. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and yes, Mammon and Asmodeus got back in, but they were the only two demons who were loyal enough that when I wasn't going to give them blind loyalty or do everything their way or ultimately become whatever, they're the only two demons who stood by my side. So everybody else is gone, and those two got back in. But, that does mean Asmodeus, yeah, Inori feels they passed the test, so I hope that was helpful. Oh my God, we've gone on for almost 20 minutes, but it's something that I find very rewarding. It's not like, I didn't start doing all this stuff for Inari and then, come on and go, "Oh my God, guys, I got this idea and I had this dream and I went up and I played the lottery." No, unfortunately that didn't happen. But they got the VR fixed and they're just like, have faith and say your prayers and stay calm. It's 2020. Please try to stay calm. Stay away from the news. Don't let yourself get frantic about stuff, kind of try to de-stress. That's one thing. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you later. Bye bye.